What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. And I'm putting all the earnestness and happiness that I possibly can into my voice. I got the flu from my kids this weekend, and now I'm dealing with a cold. So if my voice is scratchy or it sounds like I've been hanging out in Moss Eisley's cantina around too much smoke, that's the reason why, folks. I wanted to show you guys all of my Luke Transition Tray Saber Power of the Force 2 cards, all graded. If you saw my video from yesterday, you know I got a shipment back from AFA. It'll be the last one for a long time. But I got 2 Luke Dagobah Fatigues Transition Trays back. And then I also, if you've seen my other videos, you know I've got a couple of other Luke Transition Trays. And why not? Why not do a video again on them and show them in more detail, especially the Dagobahs. That's the main reason for the video, since I just got them back from grading. But, I have maybe 15 or so different Power of the Force 2 figures that are graded. And these are definitely my favorites. I've also got a Vader, Italian carded transition tray, but I love these Lukes a lot. So let's take a closer look at the one I just got back. This is, again, the Luke Skywalker and Dagobah Fatigues with lightsaber and blaster pistol. Pistol is being very generous here, folks. The thing is a cannon. I mean, the gun is way too big. Let's take a look. So here we are. This is the Star Wars Power of the Force line from the mid-1990s. And this is Luke in his Dagobah training gear. It's a kind of a plain figure overall, but you can see the lightsaber there. For those of you new to the Power of the Force line and haven't seen my videos, there was a brief time where the original figures with lightsabers came with a really long lightsaber, and I guess they decided, Hasbro or Kenner decided it was too large. That was the size of the original. You can see the bubble space there. And so they started re-releasing the figures with a shorter saber. But for a time there, they had some extra bubbles, so they put them in this, what's called a transition tray, for where they transitioned over to the new bubbles. And so these are the rarest of these figures. None of them are particularly expensive, but unless you're talking about the farm boy Luke, which is more expensive. But for the Dagobah training gear, these sell anywhere from $75 to $100 already graded. I could not find one anywhere though, so I went ahead and bought a couple of them ungraded and sent them into AFA a few months ago, and they returned back and they both got great scores. They both came back with 90 near mint scores, and so I thought I'd just take a closer look at it. You can see the texture on his shirt there. It's got kind of that weathered look. I apologize for all the coughing. Like I said, I'm sick. Luckily, they left off Luke Skywalker's sweat, so there's no sweat marks there that I can tell anyway. But this is kind of a figure that is tough to find already graded, so I went ahead and picked it up. And let's take a look at the label here. It's a 1996 Kenner Star Wars Power of the Force 2 red card. Luke Dagobah Fatigue Short Saber Long Tray. 90 near mint plus to mint. The card, bubble, and the figure all got a 90. So great score. He's showing off those guns again. I mean, that dude has got some massive arms, and it's just so ridiculous looking. And this is what I'm talking about with his pistol. I mean, this blaster pistol is just way too big, but, it's kind of in keeping with all of the Power of the Force 2 figures. They almost all tend to have gigantic weapons, at least for the early run red-carded figures. So a lot of the figures that were re-released on the greenish-yellow cards, they brought the size of the torsos down a little bit, and they shrunk the weapons a little bit to make them a little bit more realistic looking. But, for these early figures in the line, they obviously came back with, they were obviously packaged with these gigantic weapons. But, the card and everything were in great shape. I think I paid a total of $10 for this figure, and then obviously the grading costs. But to get one 90, my investment was certainly less than what I would have had to pay for one already graded. So that turned out great, and I'm very excited to have it now. And let's take a quick look at the back of the card. There he is, Mark Hamill, all sweated up, jacked up, with Yoda snuggling on his back there, and very cool. You can see the file card there, the bio for him. And I'm not going to read through it, but if you want to read through it, you're welcome to pause the video and read through in excruciating detail who Luke Skywalker is. I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him. Who is Luke Skywalker? And then here are the vehicles. At least, you know, this is, I think, the second or third wave. You can see the re-releases of the AT-AT, or excuse me, the AT-ST, and then the Land Speeder, the TIE Fighter. We got the X-Wing, the Biker Scout, along with the Speeder Bike. We got a child-sized version of the lightsaber. I don't have that lightsaber, but my kids have about 15 modern ones. And then we got the Falcon. And here are a few of the other figures there. And some of these were obviously early releases like Vader and Chewbacca, 3PO and R2. I love that TIE Fighter pilot, by the way. It's a really great figure. And Kenner Star Wars 1995. It's listed as 96 on the label, but it's listed as 95 on the manufacturing stamp here. But very nice figure. Glad to have it in my collection. And you know, there's that transition tray. So I won't bore you with rehashing the details on all these others, but I will show you real quick this one. This is a great one here. This is the Tri-Logo card. I've talked about him before, but you know, the Luke on Farm Boy on the US card is very, very expensive. This one is also very expensive, but not nearly as bad. I mean, I can't remember what I paid for it, but it was several $100. But the US carded one goes for quite a bit more, and I guess it's a little bit harder to find. But you know, this one turned out great too. I mean, that sculpt is just hilarious. I've talked about him at length. I won't rehash the same jokes, which I usually do anyway. But and you can see all the different languages there. And then the back of the card obviously is a little different with the 5 languages. So, just another nice piece. But anyway, we got all 4 of them here. One of them is a gift, but so I'm not going to take him out of the AFA wrapper, but it's the exact same as the one I just showed you. And then here's the one in the X-Wing, you know. So you can see the transition tray again. Same blaster pistol. And this is the US carded version. So similar in style to the Dagobah Fatigues one. So that's all I really had. I just thought that since I just got the Dagobah Fatigues transition tray back from AFA, that you guys might like to see all of them together. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.